yesterday, slow start in Tampa. Some of the guys showed some concern for that. Where are you as far as that process?
Yeah, I'm glad they have the standards high. I don't think we started the practice the way that we'd want to. I think slow starts, though, I think are relative a little bit to, the performance. So if you go out and play well, it doesn't feel like a slow start. If you go out and don't hit a couple throws and make a play or two, it feels slow. The difference between the two is just simply that sometimes is that you don't make the couple plays you need to make early to kind of get it going. And that's sort of what happened yesterday.
Jeff pointed out that the slow start thing was something that you guys talked about a lot last year too. When so much intentionality has gone into this offseason kind of fixing the wrongs from last year, why do you think that one maybe is lagging behind?
It's one of those. I think it's one of those things sometimes when you're. Again, I think more of it has to do with making plays early on in practice so it doesn't feel that way. It's something that we continue to work on and continue to try to get out to a fast start. But again, I think it's more about making the plays early on that doesn't make it feel like it's slow. And I think you hit a couple of plays and the perception of the practice probably changes. But that to me is the biggest thing is you got to come out and make a few plays early. And usually it feels a lot better.
Jeff also said, part of the reason that the run defense wasn't great yesterday is that they threw a lot of runs at you that you hadn't seen before. That seems kind of an odd excuse. Like, you're not expecting to recognize everything in Denver on opening day, are you? Don't you have to be able to defend stuff that you haven't seen before?
Yeah, I don't think the run defense was the huge issue yesterday, personally. Thought we had some pretty good fits yesterday. I don't think it was it's hard to tell in practice, right? You're not tackling. There's guys fitting in there and tagging off. So there were some good things yesterday in the run game. I know they had a couple of game plan things, style runs that they had for Jeff that they whammed him once or twice early in the practice. They had a couple of things to try to disrupt him, which is it's pretty standard. Those are things that he deals with as a player of his caliber. So
philosophically, that idea, we haven't seen it, so we didn't do as well against it as we would have had we seen it on film.
I think at the end of the day, we don't have any film on what they're doing. So it's not like we have a game plan process or 4 or 5 games to look at on how they're going to run the ball against us. So, there's probably some truth to not knowing some of the schemes that they're facing, and then some of it, you got to adapt and adjust to it. So I think it's a combination of both.
Brian, are you getting what you wanted out of this extended road trip? And do you think that at all contributed to yesterday's practice, guys? Just great.
No, I think we're getting everything that I want out of this road trip, and I think that's part of it. There's a little bit of the adversity factor that you're trying to get comfortable with, and you're trying to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And there's going to be times in the season where you're going to look back and the feeling's going to feel familiar, and that's the idea, is to make it challenging and make it hard. Not being in our normal surroundings, not being in our own beds, all of those things is part of the process of it, and I think that part's been great. There's been some things that we got to clean up from an execution standpoint in practice. I don't necessarily attribute the practice to that, but yeah, our guys tired? Yeah, of course, and that's the idea. It's training camp. It's supposed to be hard, and I think that's the idea of the whole trip, is that's a key component of it, is we're going to go through some hard stuff, and so that's what we're doing it now. And then you have a chance to draw upon some of these experiences as you go through hard things during the season, because inevitably every season, no matter how good your football team is, you go through challenges and you're going to go through hardships and you're going to have things that you have to overcome, and the more you can put yourself in those positions, the better off I think you're going to be in the long run. So it's all a part of the process to me when it comes to being on the road and feeling like it's not everything's not hunky-dory and we're all having a good time. Like, it's supposed to be hard.
Brian, yesterday, the first team offense, it seemed like that outside of Calvin, some of the receivers weren't getting a lot of separation, weren't getting, into their spaces sometimes quickly enough, and particularly with Iamander, it felt like he was timid on a couple of 50-50 balls where maybe he should have gone up and taken charge and taken the ball away from the DB. Is that a concern to you that these guys are not creating the separation against these DBs that you want?
No, I don't think that's necessarily a concern. I mean, they're good players. You know, I think A.J. Terrell's a really good player. I know Jesse Bates firsthand. I know how good he is in their secondary, and they do a good job. I mean, they have players, and I think it was a good test for Alec. He had a chance to go up against A.J. a couple of times in team periods, and he's getting a little bit more work share in some of those spots. And for him to have those opportunities and see what it looks like when you're playing against a real dude out there, it's good for him, and he learned from it as a young player. There was one pretty contested ball that, you know, they got all tangled up, and you'd love to see him make that play, and you hope that the more experiences he has in those positions that he ends up making those plays. So it's great for him to go against that kind of competition. I think it's been good for our team to go against their defense, and they got a good secondary, and it's a good test, and we'd like to perform better than we did yesterday, and today's another chance to go do it.
Ryan, how have you seen Cam continue to handle, like, when things don't go his way on the field, like whether it was the practice yesterday, the first drive in the preseason game against Tampa? How have you seen him continue to handle that, and I guess how would you like him to respond today?
I think he's handled the adversities of being a young player pretty well. There's always going to be ups and downs. There's going to be days where you perform well. There's going to be periods that are better than others. And you have to learn how to deal with that, because that's how the season goes. There's going to be drives in a game that are good. There's going to be drives in a game that you don't get anything out of. And how you come back for the next one, I think, is really important. And he's shown the ability to bounce back and come back and find ways to perform well. I think the Tampa game is a great example of you go 3 and out to start, and you come back and you lead a touchdown drive. You know, that's what you hope for. That's what you're looking for from just the response element of it. And he's very prideful. He wants to perform well all the time, and he's learning how to play NFL football. And those moments where it gets hard is where I'm trying to put him in as many of those moments as possible, because they're coming. Whether you prepare him now or you let him do it later, they're all coming. And I think he's in a better place, having dealt with all the things he had to deal with over the course of camp, and he's going to continue to get better.
How is
Couple more guys.
How is London able to get so open so often in the middle of the field?
Yeah, we got to tighten some of the interior coverage lanes up. He did a good job. They had some space. I mean, we're playing zone coverage in some of those spots, and he's finding the space in there. And we got to do a better job covering from the interior. And Drake's a really good player. I think he caught pretty much every pass they threw yesterday. We were pretty good in most other places, but he had a good day yesterday.
Having gone through both sides of it, winning with the young quarterback and also losing, what would you say is the hardest, the toughest thing about managing that, winning with a rookie quarterback?
Well, I think you try to keep your demeanor consistent, win or lose. And with a rookie player, whether they're having success, a lot of it, there's sort of two. It's either adversity or prosperity, right? There's two things you got to deal with, and both are sort of equally challenging. And I'd love to be dealing with the prosperity part, but you always have the other part that's where things don't go as well. And those are two things you have to try to manage, because sometimes the good stuff is false, and it's the result of other things that maybe aren't necessarily exactly the plate that you need. And then sometimes the adversity doesn't have as much to do with it either, and it's circumstantial, I guess, is my best point. Is you try to be as consistent as you can and not have a whole lot of ups and downs when it comes to dealing with either one of those things, and you try to just keep focused on the next day and getting better.
So the consistency, that's the hardest thing that
Oh, yeah, of course. And that's consistency of play. That's consistency in demeanor and emotion and all of those things. And I think those are things that you're always working on. I mean, I work on them the same way. It's the same thing for anybody. But it's hard to be an NFL quarterback. There's a lot that goes on for these guys, and there's a lot of things that Cam continues to learn. And I think that's been the beauty of the training camp, and why we're doing all the things we're doing is so he can try to accelerate that process as fast as possible.
So you got 19 days and 6 padded practices before a game week. What's the message of urgency to this team? Is this a team that's ready to play Denver?
Yeah, of course not. We're not ready yet. I mean, I don't think anybody's ready to play real football yet. That's every team in the league right now. But you're trying to stack as many good days as possible. You're trying to keep performing better every time you step out there, and that's where we're at. I mean, it's time. It's getting close to time to go, and we got to feel that. I think our team does. And there's an imminent beginning here coming very quickly. We cut the roster down in 2 weeks. It's coming. The season's coming, and we've got work to do still. We're not alone in that, but we got to get ready to go.
Last two, Nick and then Jared.
Is the expectation to still play guys, everybody on Friday?
Yeah. Everybody's going to play, probably similar to last week. It's my same guys probably out. Simmons and Zeiler will probably sit, but other than that, most guys should be good to go. I may revisit that after today and see where we're at and all that, but yeah, plan on those guys playing pretty similar to last week.
Yeah,
Last one,
and
Jared.
to that end, how much for Cam, how much game action for him?
Probably about 2 series. I think because he played two series last week and like to kind of continue that. I think just the game, being in the stadium and the game reps, I think is important. Whether or not we're playing against starters or it doesn't really matter. It's more just to be in the stadium, on the field by himself, hearing the calls, managing the clock, all those things. Just the more experience of that he gets, the better. And so as long as those starters are in there, he'll be in there. So again, probably about 2 series.
All right. Last one.
Good.
Quick one on Kevin Winston.
Yeah.
Where are you guys in that evaluation on when he's going to be?
Yeah, hopeful probably to get him back next week is sort of the projected goal. So we'll see where he's at. I mean, he's been working here in the rehab process, doing pretty well. So I think hopeful maybe we get him back next week.
We're going to get some good defensive offense here. And Atlanta got some good quality work on both sides of the ball, but we got better as a whole, though.
Day-to-day progress, you felt comfortable and confident with where you guys were, not just individually, but as a team?
I think that's the biggest thing, just us continue to grow together. The whole trip, just being around each other the whole time. Then just day-to-day, we starting to put it together, the little things. I think that's the biggest thing that, we want to accomplish out of, joint practice, the little things going to win us games.
What do you think this team is in terms of identity building?
I'd say our biggest asset right now is just our physicality up from the trenches. I think the O-line and D-line bring that every day to practice, whether we playing against ourselves or going against another opponent. And I think that's going to be our standpoint throughout the whole year and, even into the future. And so those guys up front are going to be the reason why we win a lot of games.
Cam, when you're coming into joint practices like this, back-to-back, what's the preparation like? What's your communication like with Brian Callahan, Bo Hardegree, Nick Holtz?
Just getting in there, going through my reads. It's really all base plays that we're running because we're not really game planning for whether he's playing Tampa or Atlanta here in the joint practices. And it's really just about getting the time and footwork with myself and the receivers. And that's something that we got to get fast. Games right around the corner, real football games. And, I'm looking forward to keep building that chemistry with them.
Last year, a lot of slow starts. This year, obviously, you're new here, but you got a couple slow starts. For you, in practice, what's your mindset like coming in and making sure that you don't have that slow start?
Just being aggressive. The only thing we had slow starts. It's been more of just not being disciplined on the first snap, whether it's my position or another player's position. And just little details, whether it's a penalty on us, whether it's a turnover on us, or just an all-around bad play on us. It's just us not starting fast on the first play, just in assignment-wise.
What do you think that got better from yesterday to today as you go back and look at yesterday's practice and then compare it to today?
Well, I just think we made plays today on the perimeter. The quarterbacks, us three, putting the ball in a receiver's position to have him let him make a play for us. So I think that's the biggest difference from yesterday and today is that we were able to make plays, in the passing game. I think the running game is always going to be one of our standpoints. I think today we averaged probably like 5 to 6 yards a pop every time we hand it off to the backs. And I just think the O-line just brought the physicality even more to what they did yesterday.
What do you think when the ball leaves your hand and you realize you didn't put it out of bounds and the DB's got a chance there on that throwaway?
Really just pain. That's my first time doing it, so can't make it happen again. I mean, I'd rather do it in the practice, do it in the game, so I really don't even trip about it. The only thing you can do is throw it hard out of bounds or just throw it straight at their head coach or something.
That happened in the game last week. It didn't get picked off, but it didn't make it to the sideline. I know you rarely make the same mistake twice, so what was it that, allowed it to happen today?
Just not put enough on it. Even when I throw on my back foot, I got to know to put more on it. And then just continuously learn the new rules. I don't really have to throw it far out of bounds. I can throw it right at the yard line marker and dirty right out of bounds. So just continue to just learn the new rule nuances of the NFL, knowing how to throw it away or when I need to throw it away, then also just put more on it.
Now that you've had those 3 joint practices, just how do you feel like this offense stacks up against pro defenses? You've seen it live. How do you feel this stacks up?
Well, I think we honestly have the ability to be a top 10 offense, but also it goes on every guy in that huddle including myself, bringing the right mindset every day. And us also playing together. I think that's the biggest thing is that we always play together. We never point fingers at each other on both sides of the ball. And we just got to always have that mindset that we can be the best offense in the NFL. And then it really just comes with just us caring about each other on the field, off the field, and I think a lot of that stuff will translate to the game.
What are the tangible things you've seen that give you that confidence that you could be a top 10 offense?
Just the playmakers that I have in the backfield with me, the running back core, then especially in the receiving core. I think I also have a top 5 receiver core in the NFL, including the young guys who are able to make plays. It's really all about just us or myself putting the ball in their frame of work, letting them make a play. And then there's also those guys being aggressive to make plays for the team. And then the O-line, I don't have to worry about them. That's going to always be the standpoint. Those guys, they bring the energy every day, especially starting with JC. So I'm excited to be behind those guys. Those guys pass protection. They keep me clean. Really, I would say 8 times out of 10. I know I'm going to take a bad sack this year. They're going to give up a sack this year, but we just got to continue to play, good, clean football.
How's your relationship on the field with Alec come along? It seems like there's been a concerted effort to get him the ball the past couple of days. What's your confidence level throwing in his direction?
I'm always confident throwing to Alec. I think as a route runner standpoint, I think we stole him when we drafted him, especially me playing against him in the Pac-12. So I've seen him for quite a long time. I'm excited to, continue to play with him in real football games. And I think his biggest attribute that he doesn't get, I would say, the recognition for is how physical he is. Especially being that big and strong as he is, he can move off the line of scrimmage. He can move guys, corners in and out of their breaks. And I just think the more that he continues to grow, continues to, take little things from Red, me taking little things from Red, from all the vets who've done, extensive amount of time in the league, I just think it's going to end up helping us.
So Cam, you said a moment ago how you feel like you guys have like a top 5 receiving core. I guess why is it so important for you to kind of put out that kind of belief in your guys? I mean, I know you don't really care about the outside, but external people wouldn't have that belief about, your group. Why is it so important for you to kind of put those words out there in the ether, so to speak?
I just think because we all believe it, the whole receiving core. I love speaking out to existence. I tell those guys that they're the best, and it really just comes down to us being on our P's and Q's every week. And that's where yesterday's practice we weren't, and today's practice we were a lot better. And I just think the biggest thing about myself in the receiving core is that we got to always have confidence with each other. I know they're gonna get hemmed up on a route. They know I'm going to throw an interception. But at the end of the day, no matter what bad play goes on, we got to always have that confidence in each other that we're going to make the next play.
It seems like sometimes when you guys find some difficulty mid-range or downfield, there's a sense of like, okay, let's reset, get back into rhythm by going short time in game or getting to the check down quicker. Is that a fair assessment?
Say that question again?
Do you sometimes, as an offense, when maybe you guys have a miss or something goes wrong mid-range or downfield, do you kind of say, hey, let's scale it back, let's get more into the short timing stuff and build up back to that?
I don't really think so. At least not in my mindset when I'm in the huddle. We miss a deep ball, I'll go deep again the next play, you just better complete it. I think that's more of Coach Callahan, just us. If we do miss on deep ball or intermediate pass, him wanting to go quick game, just us getting positive yards, trying to stay on track. And I just think at the end of the day, like, we got to complete those intermediate and deep passes. I mean, he's going to call them a lot, and I have to be smart with the ball, whether it's open or if I need to check it down.
Cam, the last couple of this, what do you feel like you need to work on the most to be ready for the
Honestly, I think I'm at a point where I can go play a game with my guys, physically, mentally. I think the biggest thing I need to work on going to the game is just more reps at certain plays I haven't gotten the right amount of reps at. The new plays that we're adding, so getting more reps at those. I got a lot of reps at the base install that Coach Callahan's put in, but just all the new little installs that he's added, whether we're adding play here or there once a week, just getting more reps at those so I can see different coverages. But if we have to go play a game, I'll be fully prepared with the coach staff that I have.
The last couple quarterbacks that were selected number 1, them and their head coach didn't make it to year 2. I'm not saying that's going to happen here, but I know you have the confidence that it won't. What is it that makes you believe that you and Brian Callahan could break that?
somewhat of a trend?
I just think he's going to put me in the best position to succeed. And that's what my quarterback coach, Coach Bo, and the OC, Coach Nick. I'm trying to play as long as I can for Tennessee with those three guys at the helm. Those guys, they continuously give me feedback, even when I don't want feedback, and they continuously get me better. When I ask questions, they answer every question to the little detail as much as I need it. So I'm blessed to have those three, in the same room with me. They push me to be great. I want to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and I just think the more that we continuously build our relationship, us three, Coach Callahan, continuously getting to know what I like on the field, when I like it on the field. Then me also being smart with the ball and gaining that trust every day from him to have those play calls, whether he wants to go deep or do quick game. I just think he's going to end up helping all three of us out in the long run.
You haven't had stability much throughout your college career, but if you could get it here in the league, like how much would that really unlock your potential?
I think it'll unlock everything. You see it with the best quarterbacks out there. Tom Brady, he has stability. Lamar, he has stability. Pat, he has stability. And so I just think a lot of guys who have stability in the NFL can succeed, I wouldn't say at a faster rate, but can succeed long term. And I just think that's what we need in Tennessee. We haven't had that in a long time, but I think the guys we have right here, offensively and defensively, I think we got the stability to do it.
One last one. How much responsibility do you feel to be this stability? Like, in this league, quarterback-driven league, number one picks, do you feel like you're the guy that kind of has to be the person to make that success happen? Is that a pressure you feel?
Well, it's not really a pressure I feel, but I know, I have to be the stability. I'm the one who calls the play call every day, every time in the huddle. I'm who everybody looks at in the huddle, when we need explosive play, when we need motivation. And so, it comes with the territory. I want the territory of being an NFL quarterback. And I would just say, just on that part, is that we just got to continue to build each other up. I would say the best thing about our huddle is that whether we have a bad play or nothing, if I have a bad play, we always build each other up. And just from the stability standpoint, just me and Coach Callahan just continuously building our relationship like we've been doing since he drafted me. He's one of the best head coaches out there. And I want to be a reason why at the end of the year he can be one of the top five head coaches in the NFL.